Some obstacles to people in relationships resolving their own problems. Why do people have to come to a famous psychologist like Denise to resolve their problems? Why do people read books? Why do people listen to television or look in magazines for advice? Well, for one thing, they get distracted by the content. And by that I mean, let's say that Mihail and I are going to have dinner together. And we say we'll get together at 1900, and I'm there at 1900, and he shows up at 1920. He says, "Oh, sorry I'm late, let's eat." I said, wait a minute, you're 20 minutes late. He says, yeah. I said, no, you're 20 minutes late, this is terrible. He says, I'm 20 minutes late, what's the problem? I said, you're 20 minutes late. Don't you care about me? Don't you care about creating a wonderful evening together? He says, yeah, I'm here. I say, no, you're late. He says, I'm 20 minutes late. What's the big problem? For him, he's 20 minutes late. It's a very small thing. Let's say for me, he's 20 minutes late. What does that mean to me? Oh, you don't care about me. You weren't thinking about being with me all day long. I was thinking about you all day. What am I going to wear? What am I going to have at the restaurant? What is the weather going to be like? Are we going to be close? Are we going to hug? Are we going to kiss? You know, I'm thinking about it all. In fact, I've been thinking about it all week. I'm working all week. I'm thinking, oh, I can't wait until Friday night when I get to see Mihail. We have dinner. We have a drink. I've been thinking about you all week, and you show up 20 minutes late. And what a lot of couples do then is they fight about the 20 minutes. Is the 20 minutes a big lateness or a small lateness? And people will fight back and forth. People say, you're very late. He says, I'm not so late. You're very late. I'm not so late. And people will go back and forth. And of course, there is no right answer. There is no resolution. Are you very late or are you a little bit late? There's no resolution. But if that's what we focus on, we won't get together emotionally. We won't feel close. Instead of talking about the content, instead of talking about the specific thing, I have to talk about how I feel. I say, you know, I feel like you don't care about me. And then he gets to say, oh, I care about you a lot. I say, well, if you cared about me, you would be on time. He says, oh, I care about you a lot. I see that you're hurt that I was late. I didn't mean for you to be hurt, but I tell you, I really, really care about you. And I said, well, you sure? He says, yeah, I really care about you. I can see that when I'm late, you get very upset. I'm sorry you're so upset. And maybe next time, I'll be on time. But I tell you, even when I'm 20 minutes late, I really care about you. So now we're not talking about the 20 minutes anymore. We're not deciding who's right and who's wrong. We're talking about what really matters, which is that I feel disrespected, or I feel unloved, or I think to myself, maybe I care about him more than he cares about me. Uh-oh. There's that love and suffering thing. I love him. I want him to love me. But if he's late, maybe it means he doesn't love me so much. This would be very painful for me. So, when people have conflict, of course, at the beginning of the conflict, people identify what it is that they're upset about. Somebody is late, you borrowed my sweater and you didn't give it back to me. You said that you wouldn't work on Friday night, but you're working on Friday night. You know, whatever it is, we start by talking about what is the thing that I'm disappointed about. But after that, we want to get away from the content and we want to talk about what is the underlying dynamic. And if couples are willing to do that, then they can resolve their own problems. If couples are not willing to do that, or if they don't know how, or if they get stuck because lateness is a very big thing, or how you are dressed. You're not dressed up enough to make me feel good. If people get stuck in the content, then it's difficult for them to resolve their own problems. Does that make sense? Yes? No? This isn't television. You got to answer. Okay. So why else do couples have trouble resolving their own problems? Well, for one thing, sometimes people feel guilty, or people feel ashamed. People feel bad. You know, Mihail shows up late. I'm picking on you today. Mihail shows up late, and he knows he did a bad thing, but he doesn't want to admit it to himself. So he says to me, I didn't do anything wrong. People are so funny. They feel guilty, and so they defend themselves. Most people, they don't say, I feel so bad that I kept you waiting. I feel like a terrible person. No, people don't say that. If people feel really bad, they say, you know, it's not such a big deal. I don't know why you make such a big fuss. So it's a paradox, but when people have shame or guilt, and it's very strong, it's so uncomfortable to feel shame or guilt that people defend themselves. They say, I didn't do anything wrong. Sometimes people get into trouble because they have these ideas that men are like this and women are like this. Maybe you've heard this terrible book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. Have you heard this book? Mm-hmm. Yeah. The author of this book, John Gray, he's a rich man. He's a rich, rich man. Because he wrote a book that says, men are like this and women are like this. And it's so much easier to say, men are like this and women are like that, than it is to say, let me get to know you personally. What are you like? What are you like? What are you like? What are you like? It's much easier to say, oh, you're all women. I know about women. Women like to look in the mirror. Women like to talk on the telephone. Women don't like sex. It's much easier to say all women are like. It's much easier to say all men are like, instead of getting to know someone individually.